everybody, welcome to our new video. So in today's video I'm going to show you guys how I get contoured and highlighted using powder products. This video honestly is very simple, very easy. There's very little things you actually need. You guys can use whatever you have at home. You can use the same brush for your contour, your highlight and your blush. It doesn't really make a difference. You can just dust it off on a paper towel. It is what it is. I just used what I had in this video. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, like my video, share my video, all that great stuff. And if you want to see how I got contoured and highlighted using powder products, please keep watching. Okay, so for foundation, I'm mixing two foundations today. I'm going to use my NYX foundation in the shade Tawny and my Revlon Colorstay foundation in the shade Caramel. I'm going to blend this in with a synthetic angled brush from Creative Glamour. So for concealer, I'm using my Garnier Eye BB cream. And I'm going to blend this in with a precision foundation brush from Boutique. So as soon as I'm done with my under eye concealer, I'm going to go in and set my under eye concealer with a bright powder. This is a few shades lighter than my original skin tone. And I'm going to take this on a flat brush. You can take this is a foundation brush actually. You can take a sponge, whatever suits you, even a powder brush, whatever the case may be. And I'm going to set my under eye area in patting motions. Okay, so in order for the rest of our face to look normalized and all that stuff, we're also going to highlight our chin, cupid's bow, center of the nose, and in between the eyebrows. Okay, now that that is done, I'm going to go in with my Studio Fix powder and I'm going to set the rest of my face. If you don't have anything you need to cover, you can skip this part. You can use translucent powder instead of a full coverage powder, but I'm using this powder because it just gives me a bit more coverage since I'm not using a full coverage foundation today. You can also sweep that powder over the areas that you already highlighted just to blend all the powders together. Okay, so now that we've set the foundation, we've set the concealer and the entire face, we're going to move on to contouring. Now, in terms of brushes, you can use whatever brushes you feel like using. In South Africa, here we have Boutique. This is available at Edgar's, and yeah, this is called the face contour brush. Or you could use a normal blush brush which has like a small kind of tip. I'm going to use like a smallish brush because I'm going to use a small blush brush because it's probably much more easier to get and everybody probably has a blush brush. So yeah, let's get started. So for bronzing the face, usually I bronze on a daily basis, but I'll contour if I have a video or stuff like that. I'm going to use my Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. You can say I've hit pan, but it's amazing. It looks like it could be a face powder, but when you put it on your skin, you'll see what happens. So I'm just going to get some on my brush, tap off the excess into the pan, and I'm just going to move it up and down onto my cheeks. Now, where you're supposed to contour is from the top of your ear to the corner of your mouth. So if you do that, put your thumb on the top of your ear, put your index finger at the corner of your mouth, and if you draw back, this angle right here is where you're supposed to contour. And it's as easy as that. As you guys can see, like I already have a mark of demarcation because I naturally have nice cheekbones. But yeah, you can see there's a dent here in my cheekbone. That's how I know where I'm supposed to contour. If you don't have cheekbones, do the thumb on the top of the ear, corner of the mouth thing, and draw back, and that is where you should contour. So that's very, very easy, very, very simple, all that good stuff. So I'm just gonna go back. You want to concentrate the product at like closer to your ear and then fade it out as you come closer to your mouth. So you're gonna start here and then work it all the way along your cheekbone, if that makes any sense. So that is how you contour. You can see this side compared to this side. This side looks much more structured. This side is just like bleh. Then we're also going to repeat the process. So you can just tap the powder at the back here. And then once that powder is on the skin, you could just start moving it up and down. I'm moving it in like an upward circular motion. Okay, so you're going to blend upward in circular motions. Like that. You don't want to blend downwards because then it's going to defeat the purpose of contouring. You can do the fishy face if it works for you. Okay, now we're going to go to the forehead. And I like to contour my forehead just so that my foundation can blend into my hairline. Because sometimes when I do wax my forehead, that line that's left behind can look very harsh, so I just like to use makeup to just blend my foundation into my hairline. I'm also going to take some of that bronzing powder and just blend it on my jawline. Very simple, very easy. I'm gonna take that bronzing powder again and just dust it on the sides of my nose to just define the sides of my nose just a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, the face looks a little bit more defined, but if you want to define the face even more, then you can go in with a darker toned powder like this one, and you can just go and add some to your cheekbones just to create a bit more depth. This powder that I'm using is just it's a normal face powder that's just a few shades darker than my skin tone, so it's not anything fancy. So as you can see, we're creating much more depth in that cheekbone area. And I don't want to take this dark powder all over my face because I feel like it's going to make me feel or make me look muddy. So I'm just concentrating on the areas where I want to create more depth, which is my cheekbones. And whatever's left on your brush, you can just use it for your nose. Okay, so that just adds a bit more definition, whereas the bronzing just brought back some normality to your face. And if you want to define, then you go in with a darker powder. So yeah, it's very simple, very, very easy. If you have a big forehead, then you maybe also want to take that darker powder on the forehead area just to make your forehead seem a bit smaller. Now we're going to go over to highlighting. Now I prefer to do highlighting before blush because sometimes if your highlighter is not blended out properly, it can look very choppy and it can look very out of place. So that is why I choose to highlight before blush, because once you put the blush on and once you blend it in, the highlighter blends in and it's all good. So you can choose from various different highlighters. You can use an eyeshadow as a highlighter, you can use a blush as a highlighter, you can use a bronzing brick as a highlighter. I have a bronzing brick from Design. I got this from Edgar's and it's quite nice. I mix all colors together and I use it as a highlighter. And also there's this accessorized blush which I used in my Kylie Jenner makeup tutorial. This is called Starlet, and this is the merged blush from Accessorize. This works perfectly for darker skin tones such as myself as a highlighter. But today I'm going to use more of a goldy highlighter, and that is going to be the Design Bronzing Brick. Now I apply the bronzing brick with a small blending brush. This is the crease shadow brush from Boutique. It's very inexpensive. I think it's about 35 Rand. It's quite cheap if you ask me, and it is a good quality brush. I have like 3 of them, one for my eyeshadow, one for my cheeks, one that's just on standby. So yeah, it's very nice. Okay, so I'm gonna mix all these 3 colors together and just tap off a bit of the excess because it can look a bit intense. And the top of my cheekbone, I'm just going to apply this highlighter, taking it a bit down onto my actual cheek. This is like a champagne-y goldy highlighter. You can see the difference between this cheek and that cheek on fleek. If you don't want a shimmery highlighter, you can take a matte powder and do the same thing. I just like a bit of shimmer since I like to keep my blush and my contour matte. Okay, and if you want, you can highlight the bridge of your nose, in between your eyebrows, your cupid's bow, and your chin. Whatever's left on that brush, that is what I use to highlight the rest of my face. Basically, these are matte blushes. You can use whatever you have at home. This is just what I have. And I'm going to take this middle color right here. I'm going to take it on my Essence blush brush, and I'm going to start patting it on the outer portion of my face. Many people make the mistake of starting their blush here and then sweeping backwards. You want to start your blush right at the back of your cheek and start blending it forward. Basically, if you look straight on, you want your blush to end at the corner of your eye, which is about here. That way, it doesn't look like you're a clown and your blush doesn't look misplaced, if I could say that. So as you're blending the color, it's slowly going to drag in towards your face, but as you can see, it doesn't look misplaced or anything of that sort. So this is just the technique I use when I am applying blush. So you get the product, you tap it at the back area, and then you start swiping and blending, and when you do the swiping motion, that is when your highlighter also blends in with your blush. Okay, so I'm going to use my Nimue Vitamin C Moisture Mist to just set my entire face and just merge all my powders together. You can use Max Fix Plus, Prep and Prime, that kind of thing. Max Prep and Prime makes me look dewy, and I'm not all about that life, so I'm rather going to use my Vitamin C spray from Nimue. So that is it for my contouring and highlighting video. Very simple, very easy. You do not have to be as extensive as I was. I usually don't do the double contour on a daily basis. I just bronze my face, highlight, and I'm out the door, and that is it for the face after I apply foundation. You guys can use whatever you have at home. You don't have to use whatever I use. It is what it is. I don't even use like proper name brand products. I think I got these powders for like 15 Rand when I was at home in Pietermaritzburg, but it's really, I use really cheap stuff. So yeah, use whatever you have. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Bye.